So just now that you have them all copied down, let's quickly talk through each one. The closure property says that if you add two numbers together or you multiply two numbers together, they will always equal a real number. The commutative property says the order with which we add or multiply does not matter. So 3 plus 7 is the same as 7 plus 3. 3 times 7 is the same as 7 times 3. The associative property says the way we put parentheses or brackets does not matter. It says the way that we group parentheses or brackets does not matter. The identity says that we can add 0 to A and it will still equal A. We can multiply by 1 and it will still equal A. The inverse and the reciprocal, which are going to be the focus of today's lesson, give us the identities. So if you add A and negative A, you get 0. If you multiply A by its reciprocal, you get 1. The inverse gives the identity. The identity does not change the problem. And then we all know the distributive property says you can multiply A into B plus C, and AB plus AC equals A times the quantity B plus C. So real quick, let's go over a couple of these properties. So in this first example here, we have an example with which the order has changed. Here, the order of the numbers inside the parentheses changed. That makes this the commutative property of multiplication. So you need to put commutative and you need to identify that it's multiplication. In 14, we're adding 0. If you add 0, it does not change the value of the problem. Therefore, that's the identity of addition. Because I don't need you to write property of, you can just write identity addition, commutative multiplication. If you want to shorten them, you could write prop for property, and for multiplication, you could write MULT. For addition, you could put add. I'm going to know that that means addition or multiplication. In 15, we have times 1. If you're multiplying by 1, that's your identity. And again, you're multiplying, so it's multiplication. Sixteen is kind of tricky. It's hard to see what's different. When I'm looking for differences, I first look for order. So -5, 2, 2, -3, -3. All right, the order didn't change. It's not commutative. Next, I'm looking at the grouping. So here the brackets are at the end. Here I have parentheses at the beginning. And it's not multiplication. So since the parentheses have changed and it's not multiplying, that's the associative property of addition. In 17, The difference is with the 3. So that is the distributive property. And in 18, the difference is that this is equal to 1. If it equals 0 or 1, that's your inverse and our focus for today. All right, so today we're going to talk about inverses and reciprocals. The inverse or opposite of a number A is negative A. The inverse or opposite of a number A is negative A. The sum of the opposites is the additive inverse property, which is 0. The reciprocal, or also known as the multiplicative inverse of a number A, is 1 over A, such that if I multiply them together, the product of the reciprocals is 1. So the opposite or additive inverse, so we'll say that AI of 4 is negative 4. The multiplicative inverse or reciprocal is 1/4. What I want you to notice is that the sign of the original and the sign of the inverse are the same. The sign of the original and the sign of the reciprocal are the same. In number 8, we need to rewrite that as an improper. So it's going to be negative. To get it as an improper, you take the bottom, multiply it by the outside. So 7 times 3 is 21. And you add the top. So that's negative 22 over 7. The additive inverse could be positive 3 1/7, or you could write positive 22/7. I don't care what form you give for the additive inverse. The reciprocal is going to be 1 over that fraction, or you flip the fraction. So that's negative 7 over 22. Number 9, the opposite of negative 0.002 is positive 0.002. The reciprocal is 1 over the original. So it'd be negative 1 over 0.002. However, you cannot leave a decimal in a fraction. You cannot leave a decimal in a fraction. Yes, I took my mask off to yell at you. So you must use your calculator and get that as a number. One over 0.002 is negative 500. The reason for that is because this is actually negative 1 over 500 as a fraction. And remember, you could go on your calculator, you could type that decimal and hit math enter enter, and it would give you the fraction. Okay. The additive inverse of negative 4/9 is positive 4/9. And its reciprocal is that number flipped. So negative 9/4. Mixed numbers need to be written as improper. So 5 times 4 is 20. So that's 21/5. So the additive inverse is negative 21 over 5. And the reciprocal is 5 over 21. The inverse of 600 is negative 600. And the reciprocal is 1 over 600. If you typed 1 over 600, you could give me a decimal, but the problem is it's a repeating decimal, and it's like 0.0016. So again, it's safer to leave it as a fraction. Questions at all on opposites or reciprocals? Okay. So again, I told you that the lesson today was going to be on additive inverses, reciprocals, and the distributive property. So for the next couple word problems, we're going to look at the distributive property, and we're going to talk about 2 different methods. So there are 2 ways we can do the distributive property. We saw that in the distributive property. The first method is where you have the number out in front and you add up everything inside. And the other method is where you multiply that number out in front by everything inside. So we have 2 methods, where you have everything multiplied individually and where you have everything added and then multiplied. So it says the price of the component of a computer package offered by Computer Depot is shown in the table to the right. If a 6% sales tax is added to the purchase price, how much sales tax is charged for the computer package? So in method 1, we could get the total cost of the package. And then multiply that by the sales tax. So that would be 359.95 plus 219.99 plus 79 plus 149.5 plus 99 times the sales tax. So if it's given to you as a percent, you need to write it as a decimal. So a percent to a decimal, you divide by 100. So adding up all of those totals, we get 907.44 times 0.06. And we see that the total cost of the sales tax is 54.45. Method 2 would be taking the sales tax and distributing it to each individual component cost. So that would be like 359.95 times 0.06 plus 219.99 times 0.06 plus 79 times 0.06 plus 149.5 times 0.06 plus 99 times 0.06. Multiplying all of those individual numbers together and getting the cost of the sales tax. Which is 54.45. In this case, clearly method 1 is less likely to make mistakes. However, method 2 isn't wrong. And even though the problem doesn't ask it, the total cost, or what you would pay if you purchased all of those components with sales tax in Washington County, would be the 907.44 plus the 54.45, totaling 961.89. So just so you put that into perspective, in PA, we pay sales tax on electronics, on cars, on certain restaurants, not on clothes. And our sales tax in Washington County is 6%, Allegheny 7%. So if you're going to buy a TV, you should buy it in Washington, not Allegheny. Or computer or anything big ticketed priced. Okay? Kayla makes $8 an hour working at the grocery store. The number of hours worked each day are as follows. How much did Kayla earn? So again, method 1 says you take her hourly rate times the number of hours worked in all And method 2 says you take her hourly rate times the number of hours worked each day, and get her weekly pay.
The following students please report to the library. Garrett Fisher, Nevaeh Fisher, Juan Molina, and Bryce Marchion. Please report to the library at this time.
Audrey went to the post office and bought 8.42-cent stamps and 8.27-cent stamps. What is the total amount she spent? So in this case, since both costs are the same, method 1 says the number of stamps bought was 8 times the total cost of each stamp added together. So you would take 0.42 plus 0.27, and then you would multiply that times 8 and get that the total cost is $5.52. In this case, a majority of us are probably going to set it up like method 2 when we read the problem, which is 8 stamps at 42 cents plus 8 stamps at 27 cents. And you would add the 336 to the 216 and still get a grand total of 552. There's only one word problem on your homework tonight, and you only have to do, like, you do method 1 and method 2. So like part A is method 1, part 2 is part B is method 2. Okay, the last part of this lesson is, can you distribute, combine like terms, and simplify? So we distribute the number 3. 3 times 2 is 6Q. 3 times R is 3R. 5 times 4 is 20Q. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35R. Add your Q's together. Group your R's together. And we get 26Q minus 32R. So you distribute, combine like terms. In example B, distribute. 3 times 4 is 12x. 3 times 2 is negative 6y, because it was negative inside the parentheses. This negative travels with the 2 when you distribute it. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x, and negative 2 times y is negative 2y. 12x minus 6x is 6x. Negative 6y minus 2y is negative 8y. And in C, distribute the 4. So you get 12a minus 4b. Distribute the 2 plus 2b plus 6a. Group your a's. Group your b's. 12 plus 6 is 18a. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2b. So your homework is going to be the next page, and you need to add the last 4 from yesterday. So I'm not going to make you do the 4 in the middle, but I need to at least practice the last 4. So the back page, there were like 4 problems on the back involving the properties. So you need to do those last 4. So that would have been like 29, 28, 27, 26. Just the 4 in the back. Yep. Because you don't have to do the middle. So I think it's 26 to 29. Yes. Yep, what's up, Lucas? Yes.